Hi boys and girls. So for one of the process videos I'm going to post for you is called a monoprint. A monoprint means it can only be printed one time. So it can't be redone over and over. Every time you print, it's going to look a little bit different. What you need for this is a piece of aluminum foil. And then there's two techniques. You could do it with paint or with marker and a wet sponge. So that's up to you based on what you have at home. So let me show you what to do with paint first. So I have some paint on my foil, and all I'm going to do is drag it across, and I'll hold it up in 1 minute so you can see what I mean. The whole foil, so it's covered with paint, and if I run out, I will just get a little bit more. Adding it to my foil.
A paper.
Spreading it on. Just like that. Then I'm going to use another brush or sponge to draw in the paint. So this is the part that will make the actual monoprint. Right now I just did color. That's not really going to do too much. So I have color on here, okay? Then I'm going to draw in here with a just wet brush or sponge or Q-tip would be really good too. So this is a little bit wet. It's not like dripping wet, but there's water in there so that way I can draw with it. So let's say I wanted to draw a peace sign. So I'm going to use my brush to remove some of the color on my foil. Now I am putting my brush on paper towel too, so that when the paint gets all gunked up there, I can kind of get it off. Good job, honey. So I'm still going through and pulling off color from my print. And we're doing this pretty quickly because if we wait too long, so you can see I'm drawing a peace sign in the paint. If we wait too long, then nothing is going to print anymore. It's going to be dry. So we don't want to do that. Okay, once I have that figured out, now I will take my wet sponge and I'm going to push it on the page that I'm going to print on. A little bit of extra water is going to help us. And I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to set it right on top of my wet foil and push down. Again, remember this is something we're doing pretty quick because if the paint dries, then we're not going to be able to make a monoprint with it. I'm pressing down across the whole page. And I'm going to pull back. And when I do that, you can see my peace sign in the paint. And it makes an actual picture. So the same thing will happen. Good job. The same thing will happen with our paper with marker on it. I'm going to take a wet sponge or brush again. And I'm going to draw in there. So maybe this time I'm just going to make some kinds of lines with the wet sponge or brush. So I'm making a zigzag line this time. I'm going to make a dash line underneath that. It's kind of moving around the color on the page. I'm going to make a spiral line underneath that, curly line. Okay, so now I have mine on there. I drew with my Q-tip or brush or sponge that's wet. Now I'm going to take a wet sponge or wet paper towel. I'm going to drag it on my paper so that the paper gets a little bit wet. Oops. So I put water on my paper. I'm going to take it and set it on top of my foil with the marker color on it that I just drew into the marker with a wet brush or sponge or Q-tip. And then I'm pressing down across all of the foil. And when I lift it up, my image will print on the paper. So I would like you to try a monoprint. You can try it for our word this week, or you can try it for any of the words that we do throughout the rest of the year. But there's two different ways you can do this, again, with paint or with washable markers. Whatever you have at home works best. Make sure you follow along, and then when you're done, you post a picture of your art with the assignment that we're doing that week. So again, this is a process piece, so this is something you could do for any of the words I post every week. So every week I will post your word for our challenge. And then I will also post a process video. Process means how you create your art. All right, guys, can't wait to see what you create.